Everyone is bullish about the EV ecosystem in India. India being a large market for electric vehicles, everyone is looking at that. What's the size of the EV market and who are the large players, particularly when it comes to the two-wheelers? While the market is growing, there are also great losses in thousands of crores. OLA Electric, one of the largest player in this market, reported a loss last year. Let's understand with the OLA Electric's case study on what is the two-wheeler EV ecosystem in India. In today's video, we'll cover three things. What is the size and nature of the EV ecosystem in India? What is OLA Electric doing compared to its competitors? And third, what can you do as an aspiring entrepreneur in this ecosystem? Let's understand what are the three main things one has to do to win in this industry. The first is quality, second is cost, and the third are the margins. And you have to win on all three, not just one or two. Now there are three things which impact our outcomes on these elements. The first is vertical integration, the second is R&D, and the third is our scale of production. Now let's look at each one of them for OLA Electric. Vertical integration is combining the whole value chain of whatever you're trying to do. For example, if you're interested in gaming, one option is to buy different parts from different companies and assemble to create your laptop. Second is to make each part on your own. By that you can reduce the costs, you can optimize, you can customize. Whatever you need to do will be your own. OLA is trying to do exactly the same thing when it comes to EV two-wheelers. Rather than buying parts from different suppliers, OLA is creating the whole ecosystem when it comes to EVs. What are the components of this ecosystem? The first is R&D. Second is the raw material. Third is the manufacturing. Fourth is sales and distribution. Fifth is charging network, and the sixth is after-sales services. Today, OLA controls almost all parts of this ecosystem other than the raw material in which China is dominating. Now let's go back to the vertical integration. This is the most important part in OLA's strategy, and it has been mentioned again and again in the DRHP document that they submitted for their IPO. By adopting this approach, OLA Electric can have a greater control on the quality, it will reduce its costs and increase its margins. So while OLA is doing all this, other competitors might want to import from China and put their label or just assemble the parts together. They may outsource their after-sales service or they may outsource their R&D. But vertical integration is the key to achieve quality, costs and margins. The second thing OLA is doing is it is investing heavily in R&D. What is it when it comes to R&D? We have to invest in the cell, in the battery pack, in the software, in the motor and drivetrain, and the manufacturing technology. With this, OLA has the capacity of producing 1 million units per year. Finally, what is the total market size? What's the scale of production of EV two-wheelers in India? Our total addressable market is around 16 to 17 million vehicles. Out of this, there are mass-scale vehicles and premium vehicles. Mass-scale vehicles include scooters which are less than 1 lakh rupees per vehicle and bikes which are less than 2 lakh rupees per bike. Out of the 16 to 17 million total market, around 15.5 million vehicles are in this range. If we cross these limits, there are just 0.45 million scooters which are above the cost of rupees 1 lakh and only 0.2 million bikes which are above the cost of 2 lakhs. Current pricing of EV scooters is roughly around 1.5 lakhs, which makes it significantly more expensive than a standard scooter. So how can we reduce these costs? We can either reduce it through raw material reduction, which is very difficult at the moment, or through government subsidies. To summarize the EV ecosystem, India has an EV two-wheeler adoption rate of roughly 4.5%, and with government's backing, it will only grow. Out of this, OLA is the largest player. Even in starting only in December 2021, which is around 2 years ago, OLA owns 32% of the market share. They saw a revenue growth of 7 times to 2,600 crores. How have they managed to outgrow their competitors? They did three things. First was very fast expansion. They leveraged OLA Cab's distribution network and they expanded their offline reach via their outlets. Currently, it's present in more than 300 cities, while the direct competitor Ather has a presence only in 27 top cities. Second is ease of buying. They created zero down payment schemes and an interest rate of only 6% for loans. And third is very big discounts. They gave discounts to meet the cost of a regular scooter last year and they called it December to remember. But the most important part to note here is that all of this is happening while the company is incurring huge losses. So what are the challenges ahead for the EV two-wheeler ecosystem, including for OLA Electric? The first is high cost of the bikes. While the operating cost of an electric bike is significantly cheaper because electricity is much more cheaper than fuel, the cost of production is much higher. This is a problem for buyers in a price-sensitive market like India. Second is dependence on subsidy. Recent reduction in subsidies has exposed a vulnerability indicating a reliance on government support for such vehicles. Further, large funds are required to meet the manufacturing and R&D costs of the product. Third and important is the lack of the charging network, leading to an anxiety among buyers. Despite advancements, electric two-wheelers may face anxiety issues. They may deter potential buyers concerned about the limitations of the battery capacity and availability of the charging stations during longer journeys. So while the challenges faced by the electric vehicle ecosystem are immense, there is also a great potential for growth in this sector. With the right policies and incentives in place, India can become a leader in the global EV ecosystem. So here is the task for you. If you are a budding entrepreneur, think about what are the potential business ideas around this ecosystem. If you're not to manufacture an EV, what else would you do as a business idea to create growth in this ecosystem? Leave your ideas in the comments and we will select an idea as part of the Rishihood's Maker Fund of $5 million.